Ladies and gentlemen, Trey Cook.
What's this thing? Guys, I'm telling you, locked up in that little room for half hour, listening to at least Sam talk for 15 minutes. Sam talked longer than I was going to talk, so. You know, every time I hear that intro, I'm always like, hey, I'd like to meet that person. And then I'm like, you know what, that's me. That's kind of a letdown. You know, you hear all that, and then you're like, oh, that's what I've done. So people always I had 3 people telling me, yeah, hey, this is a big event tonight. Make sure you, one person said, you know, make sure you don't blow it. Okay, and then the other one said, you got to start with a joke. You always got to start with a joke. You got to start with a joke. You got to start, stop it. And then the other one was like, you got all your notes, right? You took your homework, you got all your notes? Here's the notes. Done with those. So I just do stuff off the cuffs how I like to do it. First off, has anyone even read this book? We got 1, 2, 3, so a couple. So mostly no. So, and that's fine. Hey, you don't know who I am, so you know there were free treats tonight. Why not, right? Thursday night, Suns aren't playing, not in the playoffs. Yotes, yeah, give me a break. Cardinals, not yet, and Diamondbacks probably already eliminated, right? Okay, I'm a Dodger fan, so. And then somebody asked me, have you spoken in front of a crowd this size? I go, you know what, I'm a Lakers fan as well. I go, I've been to a Suns game. I've turned around and addressed a couple of sections, told them what I thought. Hey, it was not well received, but I said what I needed to say. And it was bigger than this, so there you go. So here's the deal. We're going to run through the concept of crushing your box. You can read about it online. I'm sure you probably have. That's maybe why you came out, or you wanted to come to the studio, you know, support Gianna and her place. But anyway, so real quick, crushing your box. It's basically, the way I see it, it's a reboot for your mind. You know, we have iPhones and Androids and laptops and all this, and you'll put new software in, no problem. You'll reboot your phone if you have to, no problem. You'll do all that. You look forward to, hey, there's a new software coming out. Hey, there's, you know, but we won't do that with our mind because it's not tangible. It doesn't come in the mail. You didn't get something FedEx that says, oh, here's the 3.0 that I need, you know. It doesn't work that way. And I had been following these sort of tenements, I guess, or something that I had always done and refined them as I went, but I never really saw them as like 7 steps to a better you or lose 21 pounds in 21 days. I hate books like that. And somebody called this a self-help book, and I'm like, I hate that. I don't like the word self-help. So what's crushing your box? So it's basically based on a few principles that I've been doing for a long time. We're going to go through those a little bit tonight, and I like to keep it open. I don't like to do the standard where I'm the professor and you're listening. So if you have a question, because it's supposed to be a community talk, not me talk, you listen. I hate those type of things. So if I'm talking about something, you have a question, just raise your hand and let's talk about that. Otherwise, I'm just going to kind of blow through these sort of like tenements that I believe are important to rebooting your mind and to making things work. Because right now, I don't think it's working so well. You know, I'm not going to get political. I'm not going to talk about Hillary or anyone else, but I don't think it's going so well right now, honestly. So maybe what we've been doing, whether it's got to come out and start with a joke, maybe what we've been doing is not working. It's not working. So I always constantly think, what's working for me? What do I need to do that other people aren't doing? And that's where I've come up with this table of contents. This book was interesting when I wrote it. I didn't set out to write a book. It wasn't on my bucket list number 1 or bucket list number 2. I don't even know if it's appropriate to have 2 bucket lists. I think it's appropriate. But I never wanted to be an author. Well, I'm not against anyone here that happens to be an author. I get, and by definition now I am, I guess. But I gave a lot of talks, and people were always asking me, well, do you have this information somewhere? Do you have like a takeaway? And when I always heard that word takeaway, that's like a European way of saying takeout. They always say takeaway. I always think of like Chinese food or something. I'm like, I don't have a takeaway. And they were like, well, why don't you have it, you know, written down? And I was like, well, because I don't really want to put a book together. But I soon realized that people wanted it, so I was like, okay, I'll put it together. Found a publisher because I was anti-self-publishing. I just didn't want to deal with all of that. I didn't want to learn all of that. And so found a place in town. They liked the concept, published a book. Here it is. This is not a book launch tonight. I don't care if you buy a book or not. What I do care is if at least one person learns a little bit about crushing your box and becomes a better person. So I'm not here to sell books, even though they're selling them back there. But but the point is, that's not what this is about. So, when this book was written, I wrote it with these tenements as they came to me. There's no order. It's an interesting book. If you do happen to buy it and read it, there's no order. You can read it out of order. It's not a novel. It's not Professor Plum killed the lady with the candlestick in the kitchen. It's not that. I just put them down as I thought of them. First thing I really like to talk about is POV. I always tell people, I'm going to give you 3 words, and that's going to solve most of your problems, and I really believe that. And the 3 words are persistence of vision, because people are always saying, well, how have you, they hear your resume, how have you done all these things? How did you do it? You're so lucky. You're so lucky. And I'm like, if I was lucky, I would actually win the lottery because I buy a ticket every week. So, and I'm not against luck. Luck's awesome. I would love to have some luck, but you can't wait on luck. So to me, it's persistence of vision, and we all have it. These are all simple principles. Everything you hear tonight, you're going to go, I knew that, and then you're going to walk out the door and probably not do it. And that's our problem. We have a persistence of vision. Like if you wake up and you're hungry, you have a persistence of vision that you need to eat, and you'll go wherever. Go to Sonic. You'll find your way to Sonic, even if you don't know where it is. You'll GPS it or something. You'll get there. It's a persistence of vision. We can do it for simple things, but when it gets beyond that, we sort of like, well, if it's harder than Googling it or GPSing it, I probably can't get there. I probably can't do it because of this crushing your box concept. Someone's put your mind in a box, or you've allowed yourself to be put in a box, so you can't see yourself doing that. Or it seems so far away. I have another principle, another chapter in the book called Seeing Big Picture. I tell that to people all the time. They're like, well, you were working on this project and you didn't get paid. And I'm like, I was sowing seeds on that project. I was putting my time. First off, the IRS can't get anything from me because I didn't get paid. So that's a win. Seriously, we've all just done our taxes. I know what I owe. They do too. But you know what I mean? So it's like, it's if you see big picture, like people that came here tonight, you guys are seeing some sort of a big picture. There's a reason why you came. I really don't believe it was for the food, and I don't believe it was for me specifically, but maybe it was to hear the concept. So seeing big picture is very important, because it's like you have to have the vision to see, like, if I do this and I do this, that can happen. Now, the negative side of that, people have told me, yeah, well, I had that. I was told go to school, get good grades, get a degree. Now I can't get a job. True. Very true. Because that was the mindset that was working then. That's why we're rebooting. So with seeing big picture, there's another concept in here that I write about. It's called who's with me. And to me, this is very important. Who's with me? Not how many likes you got on Facebook or how many friends you have on Facebook, because honestly, unless you really know those people and meet those people, probably really not that strong of a connection. So who's with you on a project? That's how you build energy. I've worked on projects for people. People have worked on projects for me, because if you're genuine, honest, helpful, and hopefully funny. People always say, well, why do you throw the funny in there? Because it's like, to me, if you're genuine and honest, then you're probably going to be making fun of yourself, so the funny will come, and then you'll be helpful, and people relate to that. I think people like it if you make fun of yourself and laugh about yourself. You're not all, I'm too important to laugh at myself. So as I put this book together, every page had to be, because remember, I wasn't an author, so I had there was no roadmap, there was no Google, there was no GPS. I didn't know how many pages it's supposed to be. I don't know. How many words? I don't know. How many chapters? I don't know. So I was like, if the page isn't genuine, honest, funny, or helpful, then the page is out. That's how I self-edited myself to start with, because I was like, I don't know. I knew it couldn't be daunting, like looking too big, because then no one would read it anyway. They'd be like, oh, I'm not reading that thing. Never even heard of that guy. And then it was funny. I said the size had to be the size that would fit in my back pocket. So that's how it came out. So when I told the publisher, I said, that's the size it needs to be. Not that girls would probably put it in their back pocket, but I like to do that and set on it. So anyway, so those are a couple of the principles. Some other ones, bring what you got. I always think this one's so important, because I think people don't do this. They don't bring what they got. People ask me, what does that mean? I've met so many people, they go to an interview and they didn't really sell themselves with all the skills they had, because they thought, well, I'll hold that for the second interview, or I don't want to seem like I'm too aggressive. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they didn't make it to the second round. And they were the only person that speaks fluent Spanish. And I said to her, did you mention that in your interview? She said, well, it was on my resume. I go, who reads resumes? No one reads resumes. She goes, well, there wasn't really an opportunity to interject that. And I said, didn't they ask you a question at the end? Do you have anything else to add? I mean, people always ask. She goes, yeah. I said, I would have answered in Spanish, which I can't, but if I could. Yeah, I have a lot to add. I also speak Spanish. Just say that, boom, in Spanish. That would have made like a huge, huge point. I'm not saying that's the reason she didn't get the second round, but it was like, that's just an example of people like holding back on their information or expecting, well, they'll find it, they'll Google me, or they'll find the information. You may only get the one opportunity. You know, jobs are like winning the lottery now. Actually, lottery might be easier than getting a full-time job, and I mean a full-time job by my definition, which would be 40 hours with benefits, which I guess doesn't even exist anymore. Because I have people seriously, I have people tell me I have a full-time job, and I go, really? And then they're like, yeah, it's 32 hours a week, no benefits. And when did that become full-time? I slept through that, I guess. I mean, honestly, but I guess by the federal government's definition, I guess that's considered full-time. But I mean, it's nuts. I mean, people don't have any benefits. So once again, it's like, obviously what we had wasn't working, so maybe we need to reboot our mind. Crushing your box. Crushing your box is just overcoming challenges. People are going to put you in boxes. They don't want you to succeed, so they'll put you in a box. Or you're just like some of my friends tonight. I thought they were trying to put me in a box, for God's sake. Hey, you got to start with a joke. Why? Well, that's what people do. They start with a joke. Got to be funny, got to be funny, got to be funny. I'm like, out. I can't be funny. So that's out. You know, you got to have all your notes. You got to have it all memorized. Well, why don't I just sit up here and just read the book, you know, this book is my, I mean, who wants to hear that? So I said, that's out. I said, how about I just be genuine, honest, funny, and helpful? How about that? How about we try that? Because it doesn't seem like the other stuff seems to work. Maybe it works for certain, the 1%ers versus the 99s or whatever. But it's like if you're the guy on the outside or girls on the outside trying to get in, you have to think out of the box, which is the whole concept of how the book title came. People kept saying to me, you think out of the box. You think out of the box. And I said, honestly, I don't know what box you're talking about. I didn't order a box. Did someone order a box? I meant that sincerely. What box are you talking about, And so I liked the concept originally. My original concept was, there is no box, I said to people. The only box is the one you put yourself in or you allowed yourself to be put in. And I actually was going to trademark that. And what happened is I didn't. And I was watching TV, and the FX network had a promo, and at the end it said, FX, there is no box. And I was like, there you go. I guess they beat me to it. I guess I'm done. But it was so interesting. At that moment, I said, you know what? It was so cool. It's a true story. At that moment, I said, perception's reality. I tell people there are no boxes, but I know in fact there are boxes. So you know what? Good for you, FX. That's yours. I don't want it. You can have it. You wasted your money. I'm going to call my attorney, which I did, and I said, is We Crush the Box available? Can you search that? It was. Long story short, that became the tagline for GCM Media, which is a production company that I own. We Crush the Box. So that's how it came out. So it was great that FX had There Is No Box. And then the book, eventually, when I was putting the book together, I was like, well, We Crush the Box. Let's do something a little stronger. Crushing your box. And what was interesting about that is I had so many people when it first came out said, is this about recycling? I'm serious. Now, what I wanted to say was, but I didn't, but what I wanted to is, are you so stupid as you don't know how to crush a box? What I said was, absolutely, it's about recycling. And they said, oh really, that's awesome, I'm into that. And I said, yeah, it's about recycling your mind. Pretty good, yeah. So at least there was a conversation, and it's true, that's not true, I mean, it's true. But it was just, wow, that's so many people. I'm thinking, I guess it's because there's a hand on there and they're actually crushing a box. I don't know. And then there were some other ones that people said, you know what that means, and we won't go into that, but it was just interesting. But it was just honest, genuine. I see challenges as boxes. I see people getting put in boxes, and I see it's like you gotta move past that. You gotta crush those. You gotta find people that are gonna help you. The who's with me concept. As so many people go, you know so many people. You're so lucky. I tell people, it is not a goal to meet new people. It's never a goal. And they're like, really? Wow, that's weird. I go, no, hang on, the sentence is not done. It's an assignment. They're like, what? I go, I assign myself I have to meet 52 new people every year, because that'd be one a week, right? So there's a good, I don't know, there's probably 20 people I don't know, maybe 20. I'm halfway home. But you know what? I'm already at 30 for the year, so done. So anything beyond that is just going to be bonus points, which I will continue to score. But it's so important to really understand who's with you, because I run into so many people that are like, I can't do this. No one wants to help me, and then what if you tried? Well, I put out a little notice on Facebook, and, nobody responded. And, I'm playing Candy Crush right now. I'll get to it later. I mean, it's like, it's like old school. You have to put some of the time into it, but the results will come. Just start with something small, a small project, or join someone's small project, and then you'll start meeting more people. And then you'll find someone that maybe wants to help you on your project. They're out there, because I found them. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I was like a spork in my mouth, The KFC, what is that, a spoon and fork that eat the mashed potatoes? Spork, that's what I had, yeah. I never had any money. In fact, when my dad died, I had people coming to me asking for money. Hey, he owes me this, he owes me that. What the? So I didn't, and if people get money through inheritances or whatever, that's awesome, but I didn't have any of that, so I have every reason to actually have done absolutely zero. And I could have just blamed, the man beat me down. The man, he's beating me down. I could have done this, but, the man, he beat me down. I mean, it's like, so start small, try it out, it'll work. It will work, I know it works, I've done it. It'll work. Start small. Try it out. If you're having some trouble, find someone who's like-minded, who's a box crusher, as we've been calling people. Box crusher, I see you. Some other one, box crusher. Oh, yeah. There's two right there. People that have this like-minded, and people have asked me, well, how can I help? How can I help the concept? Because this is not about me, it's about the concept. I honestly, if this goes anywhere, it'll be through the concept, not about the person. I mean, sidebar, who invented Hello Kitty? Give me the name of the person. Who is it? Nobody knows. Does it,
I can't see their name, but I can see them.
But the important thing is, it's like somebody put it out there, and then it took off. That's just one example. It's like, it's not important about the person, and that's what this is. This is not like, I'm running for office, and this is my platform. Now, this should be your platform. To me, I see this is like the software then. If you want to finally get your hands on the software, maybe get a copy of this. Now, the cheapest way to get a copy would be go and get a Nook or a Kindle. They're only $8. So there you go. So not trying to make money. It's not the premise of this is not trying to make money, trying to help people. I mean, $8, what is that? 2 drinks at Starbucks maybe? I don't know, depends on what you order, probably. So that's the concept behind that. So honestly, really, not trying. I think the publisher's trying to make money because he's charging $18. Okay, see that? I didn't put that number on there. They did. That's not me. So that's what they're charging. But I can get them for less than that, and I'm trying to help people. Especially tonight, we have a few. Or you can always go online. Or you read it and then give it to someone else. I mean, it's software. We all pirate that, don't we? I mean, or we try to, right? Speaking of that, I need a copy of Word if anybody has that. So, seriously. So, see me after that. So, we've talked about who's with me. We've talked about bring what you got, very, very, very important. Persistence of vision is extremely important. Seeing big picture. A couple more that I have that's in the book is if you're waiting for the right moment, you probably just missed it. And I've seen that happen so many times. I give numerous examples in the book. It's like people are always waiting for like some sort of like divine sign. Like It's like you just need to realize that make a decision, and it's either going to be the right one or the wrong one. And if it's the wrong one, change it. You know, I mean, small things to be. You can do that. I've done it. Nobody really freaks out. You know, and if you're worried about your friends freaking out, and they're probably the ones putting you in your box, so maybe you should try to get some new friends, maybe. Just think about that, you know what I mean? Because I know Sam, when he was talking, remember I was back in that little room here and all that, I was going, oh my good God, good Lord. He's talking about positive versus negative. You know, my tagline on this book, A Modern Guide to Finding Your Creative Positive Energy Source. I really believe that. I think everyone can be creative and everyone can be positive, but if you're around negative all the time, and this world is extremely negative, good Lord, it's hard to be positive. So find other positive people around you. Find that balance. Try to find the balance. It is so important. I have one more drink here. My throat is very dry tonight. So, I'm not getting any questions. I don't know if that's good or bad. But, what do we got? Oh, there's a couple left. Okay, this is one, I always like this one. No traffic on the extra mile. A friend of mine told me that, a long time ago, and I'm sure he didn't invent it. You know, I don't claim to invent any of these sayings. You know, they've all been said for years. But no traffic on the extra mile, very important. It's like customer service related. You know, nowadays, customer service doesn't even exist. If it happens, it's almost like you got mugged. Or, I think I just got customer service. No, dude, I'm serious. I was in like Walmart. I was trying to find something, and this person came up. I don't even know if I could pick them out of the lineup now. But, they were helpful. I mean, because it doesn't happen, right? It's more like people are like, yeah, whatever, sucks to be you. I mean, right? So it's like, if you go the extra mile, I always, the tagline to that I tell people is, there's no police on the extra mile, you can go as fast as you want. I know it's in your mind, but think about it. It's like, so if everyone's doing the same thing, like, I know people are like trying to find work. It's very difficult, so everyone goes to these, these sites, these work sites, and they upload their resume and all of this, and everybody's diligently doing that. But you got to remember, there's like a kabillion other people doing the exact same thing. Doing the exact same thing you're doing. Doesn't mean you're not qualified, but they now have analyticals on these things that will kick your resume. A real person doesn't even look at these things. They have an analytical that they've bought from probably China that like scores your resumes, because we can't possibly look at 1,000 and find the right person. That would be retarded. So we'll have this machine pick the best 10, and then we'll hire our cousin anyway. But you know what I'm saying? So, well, that's not far from the truth. So the point is, it's like, so since we know that's a real fact, then the answer is you have to just get as connected as you can, and you have to go meet people. I always tell people, I said, here's an example if you're a box crusher or not. There's two events going on. One, a lot of your friends are going to be there. There's going to be some awesome food. There's one of your favorite bands playing. It's Friday night at 7. It's in Central Phoenix. You live in Central Phoenix. The other one's in East Mesa, Mesa's a 4-letter word to me. I hear East Mesa, that's 2 4-letter words. You don't hardly know anybody there. Who knows if there's any food or not. It's some sort of a mixer event that you're kind of that's the one you go to if you're the box crusher. Because why? Because there's all that opportunity that you're going to possibly connect with somebody you don't already know. And if you want to be a really good box crusher, what you do is you hit the East Mesa one at 7, and then about 8:30 swing back and hit yours, and then you did both and you're happy. And that's how you do it. At least make that effort to network. And I hate that word networking, so I'm going to define it like this, because this is how most people define it. I went to this event and I handed out 30 cards. So I did my networking. You did nothing but hand out 30. I'll go to an event and hand out 2 cards. They're like, you only handed out 2? Yeah, because I engaged with 2 people, talked to them, and then we exchange cards. I mean, if someone wants my card, I always say, why, is there something in your teeth or something? You need to get it out, whatever. But I mean, I'll be happy to give you one. We all know we can get them from Vistaprint, 1,000 for a nickel or whatever. It's absurd. I mean, when I was a kid, it was like business cards were like $1 a piece or something. I think they chiseled them out with a chisel on a big tablet or something. It's crazy. Now they're like, throw them up in the air like confetti. Whee. But the point is, it's like handing out 30 in the meeting and like you're done. That's like you're playing Candy Crush or something. That's not the goal. The goal is to actually connect with people. That's why Facebook and all these things, and LinkedIn and all these things, I mean, who's gotten a job here from LinkedIn? Who? Raise, how many hands? Oh, okay, one guy. So you know what I'm saying? I'm not here to rip the businesses, but I'm just saying the practicality. I know it's okay to be on Facebook, it's okay to be on LinkedIn, it's okay to whatever, have all these Instagram and all this stuff, but if you're trying to find work, it's probably not the best way, because unless you're related to somebody, we all know that people that are either friends or related get the job, so if we know that, why are we trying the other way? Why are we doing that? So anyway, so if you're waiting for the right moment, you probably just missed it. The moment is now. If there's people here tonight you don't know, when I'm done talking, go up to them, talk to them, connect with them. Don't just say, well, I'll look you up on Facebook. I like some of your stuff. It'd be awesome. Post a little puppy picture or something. That'd be cute. Like. It's like the like button. Everyone's just like clicking that like nuts. And that's like an event like tonight. I think we had 75 or 80 people supposedly coming. You don't know if 5's going to show up or 80 because some people like hit that button as a like. I have people always go, well, I want to give you some love. I wasn't planning on going. I mean, get out of my house. I mean, what are you, nuts? I'm on like the 6th level of Candy Crush. Like you, I know you. Yeah. So, so I applaud you guys for actually all coming out to hear a new author that nobody knows about from a book you never heard of and you might not read. So, I mean, it's not calling it like it is. Calling it like it is. Just saying. It's 181 pages, and sometimes, I mean, people are like, oh my God. Oh, then there's another page, for God's sake. Good Lord. I'll just like it on Facebook. I'm good. It sounds cool, crushing your box, but I don't have time. I don't have time to do that because I need to do all the things that I'm currently doing that are getting me absolutely nowhere. So here's the thing. You can still eat the Twinkies or the ding dongs or the whole. I'm not asking you to lose weight. This isn't lose 21 pounds in 21 days, I mean, think about it. It's not that. It's you'll reboot your iPhone. You will reboot your iPhone. You will reboot your laptop. You will do those things before you'll do anything else. So the question is, will you reboot your mind? Seriously. People kept telling me, you're so lucky. You're so lucky. You seem to like stuff just falls to you. Yeah, that's what's happening. Things are just falling to me. I just set my house and the doorbell rings. It's UPS with opportunity. It says opportunity. Oh, awesome. Thanks. I have some more of that. I'll just put that in that stack over there. I'm very busy. I don't have time to look at it all. So it's like, what is it? The harder you work, the luckier you get, right? There's a lot of truth to that. And we live in this world once again where if we can't Google it or GPS it, not sure if I want to do it. Not sure about that. Because we've all grown up now where it's like, everyone just Google it. Hey, you happen to know anything about the bill? Google it. Hey, I heard there's a party over in East Mesa. What's it? Google it. If GPS it, whatever. Then you're driving on. It says turn right. There's a brick. Well, turn right. Smash. GPS told me to. I'm too stupid. I don't know. There's just a few more tonight. Content is King is one that I wrote. I really like that. People say, what is that all about? Obviously, I work in the media world, so to me, I don't care what you shot it on. Red, Area Lexus, whatever, Ursa, this name, that name, 5K, 12K, 62K. Stop with the Ks, special K, whatever. I don't care. I mean, come on. Searching for Sugar Money. Anybody see that movie? Anybody see that documentary that won Academy Award a couple years ago? What was that shot on? iPad. There's not even any Ks in that. 0 Ks. It was negative Ks. Content, because it was a great story. It's a great story. Content is king. But I have some people go, well, I'm not in the media business, so that does not apply to me. I'm like, yeah, it does, because you're your own content. You're your own content, and you're building your content every day. That's what you're doing. You're building your content. Just like a resume. Some people look at the resume like it's a piece of art. They're like, oh, look at this. It's so awesome. I'm like, a resume is like an organic thing. It needs to be molded and changed for what you're trying to do. And I'm not saying fabricate things or be fraudulent, but I mean like work all those other things in. Remember, bring what you got, so that resume needs to be tailored to this person that you're going to go talk to. Get the resume. You know what I like to do is I like to give it to them in their hand, paper, because then they're like, uh-oh, I don't know what to do with this. Because otherwise, email it to me. Yeah, email that to me, right? They say email it. And they give you that little, because that means that they're going to just delete it. But when you hand it to them, they're sort of kind of like, oh, okay. And you're like looking at them, and they're like, I guess I must read this. Okay. And no one else is handing them that, so it's kind of like you're sticking out, doing a little something. And then you put some keywords or what. At least you have a better chance. Remember, everyone else is sitting at home and just doing what everyone says to do. Type this, check this box, do this. Hell, half of them you can't even attach your resume to. Have you seen those? You can't even attach your resume. They want you to play their little box game. You got to put everything in the box, right? Address here, this here, this here. It's like, what the hell's up with that? I mean, think about it. It's like, so we spend all our time complaining about we're not getting anywhere because the system's broke because they haven't updated their software. And this isn't the only version. This is just the version for now. There'll be other versions coming out, and I'm not going to be the only one writing the versions. Don't get me wrong. I don't write all the versions. There's plenty of people that are going to have other versions. So what can you guys do as I wrap it up here? What can you guys do? Seriously, grassroots is still huge in this country. Whether it's the 99% against the 1%ers, or what do we have? The Occupy fill in the blank movement, right? Occupy Phoenix, Occupy Yuma, Occupy my house, whatever. I mean, so if you, for some reason, read it and you like it, and I don't mean on Facebook, like, then you can send us a review, you can post something, you can try to get other people to become box crushers. So it's sort of, to me, I see it like a movement. I would like it to sweep the nation. I don't care if I make a nickel on book sales, but I would be so happy if I knew there were box crushers in Vermont, box crushers in Minnesota. And there are, they just don't know that title yet. But I mean, and if everyone just started thinking, hey, let's be more united and let's call people out and let's join forces, and it's actually something you can do. It's tangible. This is actually tangible. It's not just a bunch of cute little sayings that I found on fortune cookies. Oh, that's cute. Let me put that in there. They're going to like that, So to me, that's really what you can do, because I don't have the money or the time to hire a big PR company and shove this down people's throats. And if you do that, you're not going to get the right people anyway. This has to be people that say, you know what, all that stuff isn't working, so I guess I'll try this. And remember, you don't have to read every chapter. It's not in order. There might just be one. You may be doing all of this, but you're like, you know what, just bring what you got. Maybe I need a little bit of that. And that's why I like that you can keep in your pocket, because on some days when you're kind of like, oh man, what am I doing wrong? I tune back to it and I go, that's right. No, I'm serious. I wrote it for myself as much as other people. I need it still. I didn't go up to Mount Sinai. I actually did go up to Mount Sinai for a shoot, but as I say, I didn't go up to Mount Sinai and like, oh, there it was with the tablets, and I found, oh, I'm bringing it down. Boop, here it's to you. You know what I mean? So, but I did go up to Mount Sinai to do a shoot, and that's that's another story. But I'm going to leave you with this story. People always, okay, so they want a funny story. Okay, so how about, let me tell you about the time we were in Bethlehem shooting Jesus. Now, shooting Jesus because we were doing a documentary. And just interesting how, I'm not going to tell you about the time we were held hostage in Egypt, true story. Not going to tell you about the time I was in Iraq last year. Let's talk about shooting Jesus in Bethlehem. So, in order to get to Bethlehem, which is part of Israel, it's very interesting. When you get to Bethlehem, it's controlled by the Palestinians because the Israelis allow them to control it. It's very confusing. So you're in Israel, but you're pulling up to Bethlehem, and your Israeli guide and your van and everything, they're like, that's as far as we go. You're like, what? What do you mean, as far as we go? You need to go. Oh, we don't go in there. We can't. It's against the law. Israeli citizens can't go. Why is that? And they're saying, well, because the Israeli army does not want to have to go in and extract us if there's an issue. So if you dumb Americans want to go in there, you go for it. So, okay, well, what do we do? And there's literally like a DMZ zone. It's like 50 yards of just gravel between, and then in the middle there's like a checkpoint, and it's a place called Rachel's Tomb. And when we're getting up in the morning and stuff, the driver's like, I don't like going to Rachel's Tomb. And I go, why? Is it freaky or something? He goes, there's just a lot of people get shot there. And I go, what? He goes, well, it's kind of snipers hang up there, and it's kind of a dead man zone. They call it DMZ, but I'm like, oh, that's nice. Huh. Okay, we're day one of this project, 18 days shooting in Bethlehem, shooting Jesus. So anyway, so we get all our gear, and we're carting across this gravel, and we're waiting for the Israeli guy with the Uzi. There's a bunch of them too. Point us to come across. So we go up to the checkpoint, and we show them our U.S. passports, which allow us to go in. And then, like, at that moment, all of a sudden, there's like this, there's several guards, 3 or 4. They're all like pulling their guns out. There's one guy right next to me. I mean, like, wow, that's what a Uzi looks like up close. Wow. I mean, I'm like this far from it. He's got the flak jacket on. He's got all this. I got nothing. And what's he? So there's a guy approaching without being asked, right? Approaching, wearing like a full sort of a Columbine jacket, if you will. I think we know what we're talking about. It's summer, man. It's kind of hot. I look over there and I go, I don't think this is going to end good. This don't look good. And I'm trying to like triangulate who's pointing weapons and what direction are they going? And they're yelling at the guy in Hebrew. I don't know Hebrew, but it didn't sound good. Sounded like probably like, stop what you're doing, open your jacket, you whatever, so-and-so. He just keeps going. You can just feel like that. I'm seriously just like, I'm watching the guy and I'm like, is his finger moving or is my mind thinking his finger's moving? Because you're like, man, that thing's going to go off. And if that goes off, then he's going to. And I remember, I thought at the moment, I haven't even been paid for this gig yet. Seriously, that's what I thought about. Because I'm like, we're always waiting for the payment, right? And I was thinking, I haven't even been paid for this. And this is how I'm going to go out, right? I mean, seriously, people always like, what flashes through your mind? Hello Kitty or something. No, that was it. I was like, I haven't even been paid yet. The guy finally stopped. They went over there, pointed 14 guns at his head, got him on the ground, whatever. I guess he didn't have a bomb. I don't know what this deal was. They let us go. So then you're like, we got 18 days of the shoot. I don't know if this is the right thing. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. I don't know. It don't seem right. But here's what happened. So we go into Bethlehem. We get up on this little hill. We had the first scene we had to shoot was some goats and some lambs. So we're trying to wrangle these goats. Have you ever tried to wrangle goats? Like herding cats, right? But anyway, so now it starts to rain for God. We're trying to set up the first shot with a jib and all. It starts to rain. You're like, Lord, you came here to do a Jesus video. What's up? Seriously. 1001, 1002, 1003, I look up. We're on this hill overlooking Bethlehem. Bethlehem is not a very big city, and when you're on a hill, it's really contained. There is a rainbow from one end of Bethlehem to the other. Just like that, just appeared. And then it was like, well, there's our sign, so we're supposed to be here. And the rest of the shoot went great. Nobody got killed. Or nobody on our group got killed. So that's that story. I always like to end with a good story. So thanks so much for coming out. As I always like to end my talks with, my time is up, but your time. Go to the back of the room. My time is up, but your time is now. And if not now, when? Seriously. Thank you.